Hello everyone, what is going on? Raven here. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about Delphini. If you do not know who Delphini was, she is in the Harry Potter lore. So basically her nickname was Delphi. She was a half-blood dark witch. Her parents are Voldemort, aka Tom Riddle, and Bellatrix Lestrange. The only child that Voldemort ever had, she was able to speak Parseltongue. Which, if you guys do not remember from the movies and things like that, that is where you can speak to snakes. She became the only known living heir of Salazar Slytherin after the demise of her father. She was likely imprisoned in Azkaban for the murder of Craig Bowker Jr., as well as for the misuse of unauthorized time turner in a failed attempt to bring back her father and his evil ring. She was born in secret at the Malfoy Manor in the mid to late 90s as a result of the liaison between Bellatrix and Lord Voldemort. On May 2nd, 1998, both her biological parents were killed in the Battle of Hogwarts. Bellatrix's husband, Rodolphus Lestrange, survived the battle, but was sent to Azkaban for his crimes. This left Delphi an orphan, so Euphemia Rowell took Delphi and raised her, allegedly only because she was offered a substantial amount of gold. According to Delphi, Rowell was not fond of her. She kept a pet augury and claimed that it cried because it knew Delphi was going to meet a quote-unquote sticky end. She did not attend Hogwarts, School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. She apparently had little to no contact with other children, claiming that she did not have a best friend at the age of 14, and that she even invented an imaginary one when she was younger. At some point, Rodolphus, who was married to Bellatrix, was released from Azkaban or escaped a second time. He told Delphi about her true heritage and the prophecy he believed she was meant to fulfill. At some point, Delphi found Amos Diggory, placing him under a confundus charm in order to pass herself off as his niece, which she gave herself the name Delphi Diggory, and to ensure he did her bidding. On August 31st, 2020, Amos Diggory went to Harry Potter and urged him to use a time turner to go back in time to the Triwizard Tournament and save his son Cedric, who was murdered on the orders of Voldemort after taking a portkey to the graveyard with Harry Potter. Harry refused, but his son Albus overheard the conversation. Later, along with his friend Scorpius Malfoy, he decided to help the Diggorys to alter history and save Cedric. On their way to Hogwarts for their fourth year, Albus and Scorpius leapt off the Hogwarts Express in order to enact their plan. The two found their way to St. Oswald's home for old witches and wizards, the nursing home where Amos Diggory lived and where Delphi, posing as his niece, pretended to take care of him. Albus, Scorpius, and Delphi snuck into the Ministry of Magic, stole a time turner, which she helped them accomplish by disguising herself as Hermione Granger using Polyjuice Potion. Using the time turner, Albus and Scorpius seriously altered past events, creating two alternative realities, with the first seeing Hermione Granger as a bitter defense against a dark arts teacher, while Ronald Weasley was in a less than happy marriage to Padma Patil, and the second seeing a world where the Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's army lost the Battle of Hogwarts. After many attempts, including one where Albus was erased by their changes, Scorpius managed to restore the correct timeline and decided to destroy the time turner on their own, not trusting the Ministry to destroy it. Albus then sent an owl to Delphi. She arrived at Hogwarts just in time to see how he planned to try to destroy the time turner. Albus wanted to apologize to her and tell her that they would not be able to go back in time to save Cedric. He and Scorpius explained that in the new reality they had created, Cedric's Triwizard humiliation had turned him into an angry, bitter young man who became a Death Eater and eventually murdered Neville Longbottom before he could destroy Nagini, helping to usher in the era of the Dark Lord. Delphi said that Cedric would have understood, suggesting they should destroy the time turner to get together, and that she would explain to her uncle why he would not be saved. Albus handed her the time turner. Both boys noticed a black tattoo of a bird on her back. She said it was an augury, which reminded her of the childhood as an orphan when she was raised by the royal family. The boys realized she was an enemy based on the Scorpius, recalling references to the augury, quote-unquote, in the timeline where Voldemort won, but Delphi pulled out a wand and bound them together. Delphi planned to travel back in time to ensure Cedric's survival in the third task of the tournament, since she was unable to go back to the first two as the boys' actions made those events too temporarily unstable. Albus refused, but she threatened to kill Scorpius. Craig Bowker Jr., another Hogwarts student, rushed up to say that the whole school was looking for them, but was killed by Delphi immediately, giving her a similar nature to those of her parents, who didn't hesitate to kill. Delphi took Albus and Scorpius back in time with her, but they refused to cooperate. As Delphi prepared to kill Scorpius, she was struck from behind by an unsuspecting Cedric Diggory, who thought the scene was simply a part of the Triwizard task. He freed the boys before returning to the challenge. When Delphi then staggered to her feet, picked up the time turner, but Albus and Scorpius managed to grab the device. They raced through time once again, but once they arrived, Delphi destroyed the time turner and flew away. Albus and Scorpius discovered that they had been transported to the October 30th, 1981, the day before Harry Potter's parents were murdered by Voldemort. The boys realized that Delphi intended to stop Voldemort from trying to kill Harry, and thus triggering his own destruction when his killing curse rebounded on him, due to Lily Potter's loving sacrifice. Meanwhile, the boys' parents were looking for them. Ron Weasley told Harry he had seen Albus with an older girl the night before. Harry thought he must have meant Delphi Diggory, Amos's niece. They went to see Amos, who told them that he never had a niece, which meant that the confundus charm Delphi had cast on him had waned. The adults raced to Delphi's room and found there were writings revealing Delphi to be Tom Riddle's daughter, and that she believed she could restore him to power following the words of a prophecy. Albus and Scorpius were able to send a message to their parents by leaving a message on Harry's old baby blanket, treated with a potion that would only become visible when it interacted with another potion Albus had spilled on the blanket shortly before this final trip back through time. Now, aware of when and where their children were, Harry, Ginny, Draco, Ron, and Hermione headed back to Godric's Hollow in 1981, used another time turner in order to help out the boys. They found Albus and Scorpius, and all of them hid in a church from which they could look out for Delphi without being seen. Harry volunteered to transfigure himself into Voldemort and led Delphi into a trap. The others planned to wait in the church behind the large wooden doors until Harry was able to lure her inside. Delphi finally appeared in Harry disguised as Voldemort, pretending not to know who she was. She explained that she was a child of Tom Riddle and Bellatrix Lestrange. He told her that together they'd become unstoppable force, but by that time the transfiguration had begun to fade. She saw that she was actually speaking to Harry, claiming she had studied him and knew him better than her father did. She locked the doors to prevent the others jumping out to help. Without a wand, Harry was forced to hide beneath a church pew while she attacked him. When Delphi was about to kill him, Albus popped up through a hatch in the floor, throwing a wand into his father's hands, and together they were able to overpower her. Delphi begged them to kill her, or wipe her mind clean. She claimed that she had only wanted to meet her father and to be with him. Albus wanted to kill her to avenge Craig, but Harry stopped him. In a moment of empathy for her, Harry told her that she must learn to live with the fact that she will always be an orphan, as he was. Following the defeat, Delphini was presumably imprisoned in Azkaban, most likely for the charges of murder and abuse of forbidden relics. What do you guys think of today's video? Do you like the idea of Voldemort and Bellatrix having a child together in secret? Do you think that that was something that they would have done? I think so, but then again, that would also mean that Bellatrix Lestrange would have had to have been intimate with Tom Riddle long enough to conceive a child, carry that child within her for 9 months, deliver a baby, and have no problems. What is the chance of that? I mean, there's always a chance. Always a chance. But is it impossible? No. If you did like today's video, please make sure you hit the like button. And if you are also new here, please go on ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit notification bell so that way you're notified every single time I upload, which is pretty much daily. I will be taking a couple days off pretty soon here. I need a couple day break, so that will be coming up soon, just so that way I don't get worn out, because I've been producing a lot of videos. So keep a lookout. I will say ahead of time, like the day before or something like that, and I will say that day off, like this would be like, hey, I'm taking this many days off or whatever. But I will see you all in the very next video. Bye!